So I found this guy. This guy, you might not know him. Why don't you introduce yourself real quick?
I'm Joel Salatin, and our family has Polyface Farm in Virginia. Yeah.
And I know we love coming to these events because every time you speak, you have a new twist on what you teach. I mean, I've watched about 1 million of your videos, and they're different every time. You're so full of knowledge, and you are probably synonymous with homesteading. I think Joel Salatin, everybody who has a homestead or who aspires to have a homestead knows you. What draws you to events like this?
Yeah, well, so our mission statement is to develop agricultural prototypes that are environmentally, emotionally, and economically enhancing and facilitate their duplication throughout the world. So that facilitate their duplication throughout the world, we really believe that the world would be in a better place if we had millions of us. And especially in today's world, where there's a real concern about things unraveling culturally on many angles. And when things start to unravel, you look for anchors, you look for havens, you look, well, in the worst of times, you look for a bunker, right? But before the bunker, you're looking for how to disentangle from whatever's crumbling. How do we get out of the crumbling building? And this is representative, I think, of getting out of the crumbling building. And so when the grocery store shelves are empty, you've got a larder full, a pantry full of your own, grown food. When supply chains break, your farmer. You know that your beef is out there in field X on farmer X, John's farm. And that's the kind of disentanglement we talk about. And so everybody needs encouragement in that, because it's hard. Family, friends, they think you're nuts. And it's lonely out there for the people who embrace a more unorthodox view of life. And we'd like to see this become the orthodox view, right. But until then, we're going to be unorthodox. So we embrace it. We don't get frustrated or angry. We just get proactive.
Right. Rachel and I have 5 acres in Northern California, and we're working on raising all of our own food. And most common thing people say is like, there's no way I could do that. I can't afford it. It's too much work. What's your advice to those people that want to do it but don't think they can?
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, the world's full of people who want to do things and don't think and they just need to be nudged. So one of the things is to be coached. And so if you're one of those people that's intimidated by doing this, well, then come to a conference like this, rub shoulders with other people who have made that leap, who were maybe where you are today, in that completely intimidated, do I jump, do I not jump? Maybe they were there a year ago or 2 years ago, and you're going to meet them, you're going to find them, and you're going to find the incredible resource base. I mean, I look around at the fencing, the chicken plucking, the urban garden seed pots, the little cold, man, I wish that was around, when I was a kid, right? Or young and starting out. And so we now have all this cool infrastructure that actually I think it makes the leap a whole lot easier than it was 40 years ago or 50 years ago. So I think that's one of the big values of just fellowshipping together with people that are on different steps of that trajectory. Wherever you are, you'll find somebody ahead of you, and you'll probably maybe find somebody behind you. I mean, I met people here yesterday that are just literally awakening to this in the last month, and they're here. This is their first exposure, and they're just and that's great. They'll go home full of ideas and empowerment.
Right. It could be really overwhelming if you think I have to do all the things. Like Rachel and I always say, just start small. Do what you can do. Go out of your comfort zone just a little bit, and that satisfaction of planting a tomato
Right.
harvesting your first chicken, collecting your first egg. There's no feeling like that.
Yeah, you know, you make progress with baby steps incrementally. I mean, we know that to be true, and the tendency is, I want to do it all at once. We don't do anything all at once. We don't learn to walk all at once, talk all at once, you know, put our poop in the toilet all at once. You know, all this stuff takes, you know, takes incremental, and so yeah, you're exactly right. The intimidation factor goes way down when you just pick, well, we're just gonna raise tomatoes this year. Or we're just gonna get 3 chickens, so we have some eggs and they'll eat our kitchen scraps. We eliminate the garbage truck and we have great eggs. I think one of the things that when you talk about the effort and the work, you know, those of us in this movement, we're quick to impugn the industrial food system for its externalized costs. You know, soil erosion, water pollution, MRSA, C. diff, antibiotic resistance, you know, all those externalized costs. I think too often we don't focus enough on the internalized benefits of this. Not only just the emotional and spiritual joy of lying down with your beloved proximate to a larder of grown, acquired, whether you grow it or you acquire, anyway, that's something that you participated in putting together, but then nutritionally you get way better food. I mean even the most novice gardener is going to grow more nutritious food than the organic stuff you're going to get, especially now that we certify organic hydroponics and you don't even know if it's hydroponics, grown without any soil, and so that's a tremendous benefit. And then there's just that whole economic benefit of cutting out your food bill. And as we see food prices rise, the beautiful thing is, you know, we still get rain, we still get sunshine, we still get the temperatures, and so there's nothing about the current economic instability that affects your personal food plot, your personal food production. Right. And so you can as those costs rise, you can circumvent that entire narrative by growing some of your own food, and that amount is going up. I mean, if you're spending, you know, $2,000 or $3,000 a year per person in your family, that's, you know, $10,000 or $12,000 for a 4-person family. If you grow, you know, even half of that, you know, it really adds up. So, you know, the return on your investment, the ROI of investing in this self-reliance has a lot of multiple benefits that I think we don't dwell on enough. Sure.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate that. One last question. What's easier to process? They've been trying to convince me rabbits are easier than chickens. What do you prefer?
Well, in many respects, a rabbit is easier because you don't have any equipment. I mean, you've got 2 little strings on a clothesline pole, you know. So in that respect, a rabbit is way easier because you don't have to pluck it and all that stuff. And so I think now, you know, if you have an automatic plucker and you have an automatic scalder, then probably a chicken is easier if you have that equipment. But you know, if you don't have the equipment, certainly the capital cost of getting into some semblance of volume, not commercial volume, but just doing, well, I'm at the point where I think if you do more than about 10 chickens, you want a little bit of equipment. Yeah. Just with the plucking. Sure. I mean, you can do 20 or 25 chickens by hand, but it's arduous, and it's going to be a miserable day. Yeah, and it's a whole lot easier if you're doing that. Then for sure, skinning the rabbit is way easier than hand plucking a chicken and getting all those little pin feathers out. Gotcha. Okay, I think we're going to have to do the experiment ourselves. I think that's how we'll find out. So thank you, Joel, very much. Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate you.